All right. Well, we're back at the Ultimate Windows Security booth at RSA, and this time, Pendergraft. Okay, so let's start that one over again. Pendergraft, right?
Pendergraft.
Okay. All right, so we're back at the Ultimate Windows Security booth at RSA, and I've got with me this time Darin Pendergraft from SecureAuth. Darin, we were talking about authentication, and there's a lot of people doing authentication nowadays. Everybody seems to recognize all of a sudden that we need strong authentication. That usually means a second factor.
Right.
So I just want to talk to you a little bit about what's different with how you guys are doing it. First of all, I think what's maybe one of the first things to get across is that companies that have enterprise security requirements that require them to control certain things on-prem, that's a sweet spot for you.
Absolutely.
An on-premise solution.
Yeah, on-premise solution is a virtual machine, so it's housed on your hardware. We do have a physical appliance option for folks if they want that, but we really feel like having that control is important to our enterprise customers.
Now, the other thing that we were talking about is two-factor authentication, strong authentication is all, obviously that is one of the pain points we're trying to solve, one of the big risks we're trying to mitigate. But with SecureAuth, you're not done once you've delivered two-factor authentication.
That's right.
Tell me more about how you said that really that's just the beginning.
Right. So, with strong authentication, the point is really to protect the business, to make it harder for the attackers to get in. Getting that set up is important, but what's really important is to then start to understand the context of the authentication. Who is using that credential? Where did they log in from last? Did they use a device we've seen before? And we call that adaptive authentication because the level of risk really determines how easy or how hard we make for someone to log in. So that's something we firmly believe. You can't just set the system up and let it run, because any system that's static like that will be defeated, right? And so our system really takes every authentication into account. We look at the context around it, and then we either step it up in the situation where we see something that's a little out of the ordinary. If you log in here from San Francisco and then all of a sudden there's a login from somewhere in Eastern Europe, that's unusual.
Sure.
So we shouldn't just allow you to put your password and get in. We should actually challenge you and send you to that second factor.
So we can almost call it just-in-time inventory.
Just-in-time. That's a good way to think about it.
Just-in-time authentication that's
Correct.
Appropriate for the dynamics of that moment,
Right.
user, and all the other dynamics. I think you talked about velocity.
Geovelocity,
Is this a device we've never seen them on?
Right.
But we can add those things together and do it dynamically. Yeah, I can see the value of that. The other thing that I thought was important for folks trying to sort out how are all of these authentication companies different is form factors.
Right.
You've got flexibility. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. We're always asked, what's the best second factor? And to be honest, the best second factor is the one that fits your use case the best. So at SecureAuth, we don't rely on any one technique for the second factor. We can send a text to your phone. We can use a hardware token that you've got from a third party. It really depends on that use case. We have some customers that want a very good user experience, and so they want a very low friction second factor. And in those situations, we'd rely on a device fingerprint to recognize the device, to see if it's been jailbroken, or to see, if there's anything unusual about it. Mm-hmm. In other situations, in very high security situations, our customers are, very comfortable with having a hard token or a card or something like that. And in SecureAuth, we let the customer decide what they want to do. And we really fit the second factor to the use case so that the end users really feel like they're getting security, they're not being put unnecessarily through hardship, that it fits kind of the risk profile.
Do you see companies using a variety of form factors for different sets of users within their organization?
Yeah. And because of the way our product is architected, you can mix and match. We have a lot of hybrid environments. We have some folks that are traveling a lot and they have everything on their phone and they say, that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And yet we also have salespeople that are mainly, laptop people or, BlackBerry people potentially, right? So, and then we can work with different form factors for those folks.
Gotcha. Well, I think there's other reasons why a variety of form factors is important. We use, we like to use a phone
Yeah.
at my company as a second factor.
Right.
But if that phone is down, we don't want to have to provision something else. So we have folks carry a one-time password token with them.
Right.
They just don't have to touch it unless something happens to the phone.
And so in that situation, what our customers have done is the customer's administrative staff will present you with 2 or 3 different options. So if your phone is lost or you leave it at home so it's not compromised or lost, but maybe you just don't have it.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you presented with that second factor dialogue, it'll say, receive a call on your office phone, receive a call on another number, or answer a question, like you said, have a one-time PIN. So we can give you the flexibility to shut certain channels off or form factors off, or offer the end user the option of 2 or more.
All right. Well, cool. I appreciate your time. Hopefully, folks, this is useful to you if you're trying to sort out the differences in strong authentication offerings. And I look forward to working with you more, Darin.
Thank you, Randy. It's a
Take
pleasure
care.
to be here. Thanks.